Maybe. I don't know. What color do you want to do it? No. Okay. Hi. How are you guys? Let's see. You're doing good, 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 good. Trying to see if anybody else. No, nobody else, huh? Wanting in. So I've been having problems trying to put up those videos. The video from I don't know, whatever day, either day, it doesn't matter. Tuesday and Wednesday. I got a message from somebody yesterday that when they were clicking on it, it doesn't do anything. And so I went back in and yeah, it wasn't appropriate. And so, or like it said null or something. So I tried last night and then it wouldn't do it. It just won't upload them. And then I went to YouTube and I created a channel and I was trying to upload them there and it won't do it. And my 10-year-old was like, well, because it can't be over an hour. You can only do over an hour if it's a live stream. You can't upload. I'm like, how do you know that? But anyways, so then I split it into two. And even though it's like 30 minutes and whatever, it still will not let me upload those videos. I have no idea why. So, but no, I'm working on it. I'm trying to figure out why that is doing that. It's so weird. Because that's going to be a problem. So right now, I think it has like part one and it's only like 40 minutes of it. And I don't know what's happening. So let's see. Oh wait, that's not what I wanted to do. Oh wait, oh, okay. Sorry, let my brain orient to what I'm doing here. Okay, share screen. Oh yeah, share. Okay, duh, there we go. Sorry. All right, so I don't know what we should do. I definitely want y'all to answer or ask me questions though, okay? So I can do stuff like that and I can go over or talk about whatever you guys want me to talk about. Anybody right now? Did you guys see? Do you see what it does? It won't do it. It's so weird. So part one is up there, but not part two. And I ended up taking off the first day because I thought, oh, maybe it was amount of memory that I had on here. But anyways, okay. Did you guys try the quiz? Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. So 2 or 3. Any questions from there that you can think of that you might want clarification on?
I have one on there's questions about the skew curve.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Do you remember what it was asking or?
Yes, it just says in a, for instance, this one says in a positively skewed curve, and then it says all the scores must be positive scores. Positive scores are more numerous than the negative scores. The results come out the way the researcher hoped they would, and then high scores are not as frequent as low scores.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I can see that's kind of a confusing question. Oops. I don't know what that did. But let's see. I can see where they're going with it. So the one where it says that the data works out the way that the researcher wants it to, or the results came out the way that the researcher, it's definitely not that. One, that doesn't even make sense. And two, usually skewed results are an indicator that that it's the data is we need to go back and look at it. We need to go back and look at what's happening. So I would almost say that it's the opposite of that one. That it's usually because something is happening and we're trying to figure out what happened with that data. But we shouldn't do research that results in the way that you want it to work out anyway. So I don't like that answer. Okay, here it is. This is what I was looking for. Okay. So a positive skew or a negative skew, right? Oops, sorry. A positive skew or a negative skew. So this is the answers. I can tell you the ones that are going to be right are, it said something about higher scores or lower scores, or what was that option? Can you read it to me again?
Let me see. Okay, all the scores must be positive scores. The positive scores are more numerous than the negative scores, and high scores are not as frequent as low scores.
Okay, yeah, so the first one, no, like all the results are positive scores or something. No, yeah, so what it's getting to are those other two options. So in a positive skew, and it's kind of hard because we haven't gone over this necessarily, but if we were imagining distribution, and in statistics we can always think of, oh no, oh that's okay. I don't know who's typing that, but that's okay. I hope they're back in. Well, obviously if they send a message, they're back in. I hope it gets fixed, but don't worry about that. Join in, talk whenever you need to. We're totally good here.
Yeah, thank you. I'm so sorry.
Oh, okay. No. Don't even apologize. Okay, so if we would imagine that this is a distribution, and we're going to put this line right here, and we always want to, in statistics, we always want to think of this as being a frequency, okay? And down here is, whatever, I don't know, whatever it is that we're measuring. And so in a positive skew, the numbers are, the most of the numbers are smaller values, if that makes sense. So the highest frequency of numbers are going to be low values, okay? In a negative skew, the highest frequency of numbers are going to be higher values. Does that answer it? Read the two options again. It's almost like read B and D for me.
Okay. Let's see. High scores are not as frequent as low scores, and the positive scores are more numerous than the negative scores.
Okay, and does it say what type of just skew? I don't even remember now.
Oh,
the original.
Positive.
Oh, in a positive skew. So in a positive skew, you have more, like, let's see. Oh my gosh, you have to read it again. It's almost like I need to have it.
I think she said that there were fewer higher scores than lower scores. So there was more lower scores than higher scores.
Yeah, in a positive skew, there would be more lower scores than higher scores. And in a negative skew, there would be more higher scores than lower scores. And then, yeah, the other one, I don't know. Does that make sense? This is, if we look at this, the positive skew?
Yeah.
Or
the
higher scores are less frequent than lower scores? if
Okay,
that
so is it the high scores are not as frequent?
Is it
the high
based
scores
on,
are not frequent. That's it. That's the option right there. Okay, go ahead, Natalia. I'm sorry.
oh no, I'm just saying I guess so if you're reading a graph, you're reading from left to right, right? So obviously
yeah.
if we're looking at a positive skew, you're seeing that the hill is downward. So there's, I guess, lower scores.
Right.
Lower scores. And then and if you see the negative skew, there's the high there's a bigger lump in the right side. So that would mean, I guess, that there would be a higher score than
Right. A higher frequency of high
Yeah.
scores. Right. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes, that.
Yeah. So it's just kind of looking at the skews, wherever the hump is, right, or the highest point. Think of that as the highest frequency. Okay. There's the most number of scores, or the most scores. So how they're wording it is they're just trying to make you understand that in a positive skew, that highest point is where numbers would be of a lower value. And, there's not very many scores down here. And then all of a sudden you get the hump. So there's higher amount of scores once the numbers start getting bigger. Does that kind of work, Cassandra? Okay, sorry, that was a long way to get there. It's kind of hard for me to hear those, and then I got confused on that. But thank you. Okay, another one. Any other questions or?
Yes. Hi, Ms.
Hi.
Baez.
Hi.
I haven't been to any other session. I'm not that big of a morning person, but I have watched all the recording. So I feel like I know it's my first time here, but I feel like it's just any other day in class.
Okay, welcome.
I just had a question there was a specific question that I kept missing. Like I took it twice, but this one question I couldn't. It was pertaining to levels.
Oh yeah.
I can read it directly. It was levels of an independent variable is a reference to, and that one every answer seemed like sort of correct, so it was a little like confusing.
Okay, you could, do you have it in front of you that you could read the answers? I could tell you it's like categories.
Yeah, my first attempt, I know I put it's a factor of the answer I put was factors, that it's a factor. But the second one I put, levels of an independent variable is a reference to A, treatments, B, qualities, C, dependencies, and D, factors. I think dependencies and factors, and I think neither of them were correct.
Okay, yeah, it's treatments. As soon as you said treatments, I'm like, that's it. And let me go over that just a little bit. And that is one thing. Remind me your name. I don't see it on here.
Victor Sands.
Victor. Hi, Victor. Okay, so yes, the one annoying thing about, well, there might be many annoying things about statistics, but to me, one of the most annoying thing about statistics is all the different phrases, terms, words that they have for the same thing, and why they don't just go with one thing is so annoying. But where is it? Is it even on here? Here we go. So levels and the treatment, that treatments is your answer on that one. You can really think of levels as the groups or the categories. And within that, treatments could be one of those, if that makes sense. So like here, we have here, say the level, and they're giving the example of male and female. If we were doing a study and we said, we're looking at gender on, I don't know, memory. Where there's two levels to gender, the male and the femaleness. And it wouldn't really make sense to call it a treatment, because you're not like manipulating that necessarily. You're not manipulating whether someone's a male or a female. You are observing it, right? And you're categorizing it that way. But when we have a treatment group, this sort of refers more to something, a part of the independent variable that you're manipulating, and you're giving, and here's an example, right? The Tylenol, placebo, Motrin, or something like that. And that one makes a little bit more sense when you use the word treatment. And sometimes you hear treatment as contrast to just, it's the treatment group and then we have the control group. But treatment could be a little bit more than that. Like we're saying, it could be Motrin, it could be Tylenol, it could be blah, 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 whatever. And a treatment is a type of level. Why they're using it necessarily like so interchangeably, I guess you could sit here and say that's kind of nitpicking, or that's kind of splitting hairs there. But it is accurate. And we'll actually see a little bit later when we're doing something called ANOVA, and we're doing analysis of variance. We will call one group or one type of variability the treatment variability, and the other type of variability is just like our they call it error, the error variability. And so I can't, I guess, more eloquently explain why it's that way, other than it just is.
Yeah, I guess my biggest challenge, like not my biggest challenge, it's just like I considered treatment being the question, but I thought it was too easy, too obvious.
Yeah.
The question after is treatments is an experiment refers to, and that one I got correct, it ended up being levels of the independent variable. And I was like, is that question asking me the same thing, just kind of reversed? But I was like, oh, it's too easy.
Okay. So Victor, you're one of those. You sit there and you convince yourself that it can't be this, it can't be that easy, and you overthink it, right? So I hate when that happens, right? I hate when that happens. Okay, so you're okay. You see the obvious connection that it's treatment.
Yes.
Okay, and I don't need to go into, now I'm sitting here, I'm like, why do they call it that? It just, sometimes you hear them as treatments, categories, groups, levels, the levels to the variables. That's just how that is. So thank you. And I apologize for that. And if it doesn't bug you too much, if you go back in, you can check that off.
Yeah, definitely. That was my biggest concern with the quiz, and that clarified it a lot. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry about that. I hate that. Okay. Anyone else?
Do you expect us for the exam, for example, or do you expect us to identify like the type of variables, as in like if they're nomial or ordinal, or I don't know what the other ones are?
Yeah, nominal, ordinal, ratio, and all of those good things. I believe on the quiz, correct me if I'm wrong, that there is one where it asks if a certain type of example was and the answer was nominal, I believe.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Okay. Categories, yeah.
Yeah, and it was in the example, it just kind of names them off, and again, I don't remember the question exactly, but it was something like
it was ranking parental.
Oh, that's right.
Disciplinary. Yeah, because I had a problem with that one too. I don't know if I got it right in any of my attempts. I think I did it 3 times.
Oh no, that's Cody, right?
Yeah.
Hi, Cody. Well, yeah.
Because it was like the classifications.
Yeah,
And-
of parenting, and it was authoritative,
Yeah.
authoritarian, that one, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, but you don't remember the answer choices? So
It
should-
was, hold on one second. I actually had the PowerPoint. It was nominal, ordinal, interval, or ratio.
oh, those are your options?
That was the
Okay.
options, I believe. Yeah.
Okay, so that's nominal.
Okay. See, I figured
Yeah.
it would have been ordinal, like ranking. That maybe,
Oh,
yeah.
well, yeah. I see where you're going with that, but ranking
Yeah.
would be, we don't, I mean, although we do say that there are certain types of parenting styles that are
Right.
better than the others, we don't have that ranked.
Yeah. Now that I read it out loud, that makes more sense to make it
Yeah,
because it was just
yeah.
the names of the different types. Okay.
Yeah, it's just names. And so Natalia, to go back to answer your question, that is the extent that I would ask about those. Okay. It would just be, if there was a name and it's going to be kind of the nominal. If there was a question and it said, say the National Forest Association has the ranking for fire safety as severe, moderate, or low, in that instance, that would be ordinal. But those would be the only two times and two types of questions of that I would ask, whether it's just nominal or whether it would be ordinal. And remember, ordinal, like Cody was saying, is they are ranked. And when you hear it, you're going to know right away it's ranked, because it's going to be something like that, like high, medium, low, severe, moderate, minimal. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, and I will not get into whether it's interval and whether it's ratio. I would not ask those.
I mean,
Yeah.
for future reference, about like an example for interval or
ratio.
Or ratio.
Okay. So ratio is a type of interval. Okay, just like ordinal is a type of nominal. Okay, so they're like it's a hierarchy. Okay, so interval means that it's continuous. Okay, there's a lot of values in between 2 points. All those distances between 2 points are equal. Okay. So that's interval. When you think of that, it's time, it's distance, it's temperature, things like that. Okay. Ratio has a true 0 point. Okay. So now that gets into, well, it depends on what we're looking at, right? So I just mentioned temperature. Everything has a temperature. There is no absence or 0 point of temperature. Okay. So that temperature is always interval, but say distance that people run, you can have a 0 point there because maybe they didn't run the race. And so they ran 0 distance.
I see.
Okay. Yeah. All of these types of variables and stuff can get so you can get really bogged down in them. And, again, just to be honest with you, it really never comes up other than in this class. Okay. So I promise you, don't stress about it. I won't ask you that, but that's what that is. Okay.